I love the PlayStation 1. It was the first gaming console I ever played and owned. Yes, my history with this old beast is strong. It made me look forward to playing more games in the future. These days I use my PlayStation 2 to play PlayStation 1 games and it's worked well for the most part. But what about the PlayStation 3? That can play PS1 games via discs too and in 1080p via HDMI. 10 years ago, most people would agree that the PS3 was the best way to play PlayStation 1 games. What about today in 2020? Thanks to this device, the OSSC, maybe things are now different? After all, line scaling 240p or 288p in my case to 1080p sounds too good to be true. In this video then, I shall be trying to figure out which is better, playing PS1 games on the PS2 via the OSSC or the PlayStation 3 with HDMI. Let's dig in. Before we start, a quick disclaimer. I need to address how I'm going to go about this. First, the OSSC. As you know, there are many modes and functions on this device. So that we do not get hampered or bogged down, I'm going to use the 5x mode in games where everything is how it should be on the screen, and the 4x mode when the image doesn't look quite right, as you can see here. Also with the 5x mode, I used 1920 at 1200, which works best for my particular setup. For the PlayStation 3, it's 1080p via HDMI, but when you record, the captures look like this. For consistency's sake, I've manually edited all footage to be 4:3 so that we can better compare the two consoles. Right, now let's get moving. How about Zero Divide 2? This is a forgotten 3D fighting game developed by Zoom. This was not released in North America, which is weird, but there you go. It's not a bad fighting game at all. The music is the star of the show though, and the graphics look great. It's pretty impressive visually, which makes me sad it didn't sell too well. You've been seeing the PlayStation 2 footage using the 5x mode, which works wonderfully here. The game looks really crisp and detailed. So what about the PlayStation 3? It's similar for sure, but there are a few differences. First, the PlayStation 2 footage looks more jaggy or pixelated than the PlayStation 3 footage. This gives the PlayStation 3 a smoother look to its gameplay. But the PlayStation 2 footage is sharper and more colourful too. Both sets of footage look great to me. What do you think? Oh, and listen to the sound rendition. The music sounds less forward in the PlayStation 3 capture, which is odd.
Pixel, win! Get set! Ready? Go!
Next up, The Italian Job. Based on the 1969 film of the same name, The Italian Job is a mission-based driving game similar in vein to Driver. I need to say this, the graphics are pretty lackluster. Is this a PlayStation 1 game or a freaking Game Boy Advance game? I can hardly see anything, and the draw distance is what, 1 foot? Anyway, this is the PlayStation 2 footage. It works well with the 5x mode, even though we see the game looking poor as a result. The PlayStation 3 footage is softer, slightly duller in appearance, and looks a little stretched. I actually prefer it as the game looks a bit better somehow. It wasn't meant to be seen like this, but as the PlayStation 3 makes the game slightly less pixelated, I'll go with that. Dead or Alive is interesting as the game uses interlace output instead of progressive scan. This means we get to see how both consoles handle deinterlacing. Sadly for the PlayStation 3 fans, the console doesn't deinterlace the footage at all. So you end up with these horrid combing artifacts which are not nice to look at. The only way to fix this is to use component cables, set the PS3 to 1080i, then deinterlace the footage via OBS or a capture device that does this for you. For the PlayStation 2, I put the OSSC into 576i pass-through mode and deinterlaced the footage via OBS. Here's the results. Which one looks better to you? I think I know which of these two I prefer, right folks? Let's check out Driver. This mission-based driving game is awesome. Fun as hell, I love the 70s tyre skid sound effect, and the open world was ahead of its time. As for the graphics, it's not great, but hey, it could be worse. Sadly, the game's map screen didn't like the 5x mode, and as a result, the 4x mode will have to do. It still looks great and sharp too. Between this and the PlayStation 3 capture, I'm struggling to tell the difference. I guess the colours are a bit more vibrant on the PlayStation 2 capture, and it's a smidgen sharper, but that's it. The PlayStation 3 wins though, because this game uses interlacing at the menus, which trips up my capture device. Thanks resolution switching, I'm so glad we deal with you no more. Ridge Racer Type 4 was a great game for the time. It's an arcade racing game that has amazing graphics and texture details, and of course a soundtrack to die for. And guess what? The 5x mode on the OSSC works! Well, just about, but it's a pass baby. As a result, sharper picture quality, better colours, and more dithering. Yes, Diversity Avenue is back. The PlayStation 3 footage keeps up, and again, due to the menu switching resolutions, this game is more seamless on the PlayStation 3 when going from gameplay to menus and then gameplay once more. Still, they both look wicked. Although the way that the two deal with sound is a bit different in this game as well. Hear for yourself. The last game we will take a detailed look at is R-Type Delta. It's a shoot 'em up game and the first one in the series to be in 3D, or at least have 3D graphics. This game will destroy you, or me at least, because I'm terrible at it. Also, the 5x mode hides the beam meter, which is a no-go. 4x it is then, baby. So the game looks pretty good still. I think the visuals are really nice, and the special effects deserve a mention. Look at them! Definitely don't see effects look this good often on PlayStation. The PlayStation 3 footage looks pretty much the same aside from the usual suspects, as in duller looking and maybe less sharp. But I can't tell the two apart, or at least not easily. Alright, now let's montage the rest of the footage that I recorded and come to a final conclusion on which I think is better for playing PlayStation 1 games. must also stress here that the PlayStation 2 is running PS1 games on a hardware level, whereas the PlayStation 3 has to emulate PlayStation 1 games. But here's the catch, buying a decent PlayStation 3 will cost around £80. HDMI cables are cheap, and since most people download or already have PlayStation 1 discs, the cost will not go up from here too much, aside from getting more games obviously. The PlayStation 2? Well, First we need a PlayStation 2. Thankfully, at only £20 to £40, that's easy. Then we need a decent SCART or component cables, another £20 to £40. Then we need a decent upscaler like the OSSC that I've been using, or a FrameMeister, or you can go cheaper and use a RetroTink 2X. The OSSC was £140 for me. Then we need this audio splitter if we use component cables to get the sound to work. In other words, PlayStation captures on the PlayStation 2 can look amazing, but you pay for it, man. Most people may want to look in a different direction for that reason. No matter what you decide, I love the setup that I've made, and I'm glad I made a lot of effort to get my game captures looking this good on the older game consoles that I own. Alright folks, let me know which way you would go for playing PS1 games. After all, there are more options that I did not discuss in this video, and until my next video, I will see you soon.